Hello, welcome back to the JRB podcast with myself, Ryan Levine, joined here with Jeff Jones and Bohdan Temnick.
Hey,
Hello.
And today we will be going over the full set list of Rarity Collection Anniversary Collection 25th Quarter Century 2, whatever
All
it's
the
called.
good, the bad, and the ugly, as they say.
Yes. And there is some good, some bad, and some ugly for sure. So, and then that's basically our main topic. I think we're going to talk a little bit about the retro pack thing towards the
there was
end,
a
but
Y
not really
there was a
gonna.
YCS we didn't talk about, but
Was there?
I guess yeah, it's
Which one?
Rio.
Which one did we not talk
Re-
about?
Rio.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, we can talk about that.
It-
I guess before we get into anything, I will say, what was your favorite card from the new Rarity Collection? Please leave a comment and let us know. I always forget to ask these questions until
In
the
the
1 hour
beginning.
and 50-minute mark of the video. So this time I'm gonna get ahead of it. And if there's any
hmm
card you really dislike, also let us know. There definitely is one that we all dislike, and we will go to. But um, yeah, I guess let's touch on Rio real quick. I guess because this was the first event with Legacy of Destruction legal.
hmm
So, do you have any thoughts on that? I guess.
I mean, Snake Eye won. That was expected.
Mm-hmm.
Tenpai
Snake Eye
existed. That was
won?
also
Are you
expected.
kidding me?
Yeah.
Again? What
Yeah,
is... Oh my gosh. Yeah,
I
but
think the
do
only
you know what
unique
the
thing was
breakdown was?
Jesse. Sorry,
I said, do you know what the breakdown event was?
I do not know what the breakdown was.
I there
All
like
right,
there's
sorry
a
for everyone
sheet
listening. I have to go
somewhere,
take
but
care of my cat again because he's
Yeah,
being a nightmare.
it's fine.
all
Keep
right. So
talking.
the gist of it was like I don't know what you expect. I think the only real thing that came out of it, outside of the obvious like you're in South America and you have all of these very obscure like card choices or deck choices. I think this one was relatively tame. Um, like Jesse top with Lab, but he went X2-1 and came 32nd or like 31st or something. So I thought that was funny.
I actually
And then
didn't know
immediately
he.
lost.
I didn't know he
Mm,
played Labyrinth. Honestly, like I actually just did not
Jesse
know
lost
that.
to Jesse lost to Testina Snake Eyes or Testina Kashtira. It was something really funny because like keep seeing the dude on Twitter, and I'm just like, good for you. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's good stuff, and I can get behind that. But no, it was just normal stuff that you would expect. I've been playtesting a good chunk. I have no intention of really playing any events this format, but like going into my WCQ, I was like, I may as well get the refresher. We were testing a lot of Tempai, and I was like, oh man, like the Kashtira cards is still really oppressive. Like Unicorn is just like warping deck building in some capacity still. Like it's just functionally better than like cross out designator sometimes when you have like Unicorn and Snake Eye Ash. So it doesn't surprise me that that deck did well. And it doesn't surprise me that Tempai put up some numbers as well. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think they need to reevaluate the tournament structures for smaller events like this, right? Like this one still panned out reasonably well. Like I don't want it to be like a top 16 cut or something. It was what it was like 400 people or something, right? And
I
that
think it
doesn't
was
discredit
350 or something like that. Yeah.
370 something like that. I don't think that makes the event like easy to discredit because like obviously like a YCS is still a YCS, but I think they should change the tournament structure depending on how many people are in the event because obviously like 2,000 person event versus like 370 person event should be different, but they have this like static top 32. Maybe they should just have like an extra round. I don't know. But it all ended well. Like the person that won, former Dragon Duel, Raphael Reich, former remote YCS champion as well. Good kid. Happy that he won. Second place was Melodious Snake Eye, played by Ruben. And then we saw the usual suspects in top 8, and they were just playing, like standard Snake. It was like Paulo, Chris, etc. But I think the coolest thing was maybe the Melodious Snake Eye deck. That weekend because I know there was a lot of chatter about it and like a lot of people were talking about the combos and stuff like that. And there's some unique ones for sure. I saw one the other day that was actually making Trigate Wizard as its negate, and it was co-linking it. And I thought that was very interesting. Um, so yeah, probably like a lot of room for innovation with the Melodious cards themselves because they are very powerful, generate quite a lot of bodies, and a full Snake Eye combo with Apollosa. So who would have thought? But yeah, I think that covers Rio for the most part. And then like looking forward, I guess we have Indy, which is same format as Rio with a little bit more definition. And then we have Terminal World, which is only pocketed for 2 WCQs, and then you have Info, which would be for Euros and North American WCQ. But we'll get into those in a later episode, I imagine, probably closer to that date if we have time.
For sure. So although no new cards in Rarity Collection, definitely something like I haven't been following as much of the discourse around this as I was for the previous Rarity Collection. So I don't know what the general consensus is on this set. I think everybody going into this kind of knew it couldn't be as, I'm going to put in air quotes, good as the first Rarity Collection. Because when you look at the cards in the first Rarity Collection, like relative to the availability of them, it's like Baron was very expensive. Ash got
Baron,
its high
Pot of
rarity
Prosperity
printing.
was a big one.
Yes, Pot of
I think
Prosperity.
it's a lot of like, where do you go from here?
Yeah.
Right, with Rarity Collection 1, because it hit a lot of the modern staples that people were clamoring for, because you saw them incrementally get reprinted over time during COVID, right? So like, let's say 2020 was the marker where we started seeing cards like Droplet Tactics, into like Lightning Storm, into Prosperity, etc. And then we saw like Mama, the Tins, and like those were just funneling reprints. We even saw the random Droplet reprints in like the Duelist pack, and just all of those sort of things popping up. Like, I was gonna say Thrust, but it doesn't really count. But yeah, like just seeing it all come together in one other product, like a year later, when these cards were already like sort of at the tail end, but creeping back up because demand was there, and they weren't in cycle anymore. It was pretty refreshing, just knowing that there is a product that has all of these crazy cards in them. But as you said, like when we look at other products now, it's just like, so what are we reprinting now? Like, where are we going from here?
Yeah.
Do we just put Prosperity in everything? Do we put Droplet in everything? Probably it should be the case. I mean, Pokemon does it; they get away with it. But...
yeah, it's
yeah, I
like,
think a lot of people really wanted to get more value for money with the price increase, right? Because that's what I'm looking at. I'm like, this set is more expensive, and I want the cards half as much.
I'm gonna stop. So I want to real quick before we get into this. Okay, so
yeah.
I want to set.
Yes.
Okay. So just let me have my piece on this, and then we don't need to talk about the price of it for the rest of the thing.
Sure.
So I understand the price per pack and the price per box. The MSRP has increased. However, you get more cards per pack and per box. So
I'm gonna go smash my phone.
You are not paying more per card. You are losing out. I think you get like 10% fewer super rares or something.
Yes.
I think, or maybe like 20% fewer super rares. Like, but you get the same number of secret rares and ultras, which are the ones that can turn into your hit slots. So as far as the value cards are concerned, you are paying the same amount for the same amount of cards. That being said, it means the cost of entry is increased. So you can't just, the minimum amount you can pay to buy a box is 50% higher.
Yes,
However,
that's what I need.
You get 50% more cards. So
you were arguing the equivalent of like a 3-piece nugget meal versus a 6-piece. That is essentially what you were trying to make.
People on Twitter have been posting like it's more expensive, and I'm like, it's not.
Yeah, like, no, but those people look at the number and they just say this number is bigger than the last.
That's what I'm saying. I want to clear up that, like, as far as other than the person buying literally one, like if you bought 3 boxes of Rarity Collection 1, if you just buy 2 boxes of Rarity Collection 2, it's the same price and the same number of cards. It's just like, I don't know why they changed the configuration. It's very bizarre.
Right. I think it's
makes it confusing.
Think it's good. It does make it confusing, and the problem that I have with it is, so it comes with 18 packs. Very bizarre.
That is really bizarre.
18-pack box.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is effectively, if you double it. If you like, we'll say is slightly less than double of what you're supposed to get if you from Rarity Collection 1, but for argument's sake, we'll just say it's double. It's basically double. You get double the cards.
Yeah.
Which means you are effectively getting 36 packs in a box, or 36 packs worth of cards compared to Rarity Collection 1. And which means that you cannot get a 24-pack booster box, which means that in no way, shape, or form can you pay the same amount of money for 24 packs worth of cards like you would before. You always have to get the 36-pack box. Like if anything, if they wanted to do it this way, it should have just been 12 packs. Like make a 12-pack box and then keep the MSRP the same as the first set.
Yeah, that would have
Because
made way more sense.
And yeah, and then you're always getting 24 packs just in 12 packs worth of like
I get what you yes. And like the product page said something about like packaging and stuff like that, and like while I believe them, it's still like so bizarre to have this one product in a different configuration, but it's whatever. Like it doesn't matter. It's weird. I just wanted to note how it works, and we can move on.
Like
from
maybe
like if a person at my locals wanted a box's worth like 24 packs, they would have to open up a box of 18 packs and buy them individually.
Yes.
And then you're at that point you might as well just buy the entire box because of what you're spending.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can, there's no way, shape, or form can you get 24 packs worth of it.
Yeah.
For a price of MSRP normally, so you just have to get the 18 packs basically. So it's kind of annoying. I hope they never do this again. I think it's a huge oversight. I don't even know how they came to this conclusion.
It's just weird. Yeah, it's just bizarre. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything else to say about it really. It's just odd, but there it is. So before we go into the actual contents, the other thing I want to talk about from the creator reveals is they changed platinum rares back to the old platinum rares.
And that's the thing I'm happiest about, honestly, throughout the entire thing. Not about any of the cards. I'm happy that they changed this.
Do you know why I don't like care for it? Like I don't hate it. But do you know what I thought when I was watching those videos, just not knowing what any of the rarities were again?
Yeah,
it was literally last year, and it's people going, "Oh wow, like he pulled a lot of what rarity did he pull? Like I don't know what this one is."
Yeah, it's like they finally trained us what the weird rarities were, and then they're like, "Just kidding, here's another weird one."
Bro, I was looking at them pull like the platinum secrets, and I'm like, "Oh, these are odd looking like quarter century rares." Like the Europrint ones that Nadir was opening. I'm just looking at them and I'm thinking, holy shit, like you just pull one in every pack. Like I was blew my mind.
Yeah, they
look really nice though. I think they look insanely nice. My problem is always just gonna be like, when am I ever buying these?
Because they don't match anything else now. And now if you like, this is such a small like subset of a niche amount of people. But if you, for some reason, priced yourself into the Rarity Collection 1 Platinum Secret Rares, and that was the rarity that you picked, and like you got all your cards in that, you are sick right now.
Yeah.
Like, which is, it's just weird. Like,
there's a support number on the back of a pack if you really want to complain to someone, but
pretty much, right? The only thing that this makes me think about, which like I almost don't even want to say this because it will like invite the evil into the world, but it really makes me think that in the next like 10 months they're gonna make Rarity Collection Chapter 1 and they're gonna like combine both Rarity Collections with the new Platinum Secret Rare, and I would be disgusted. Yeah, I know. Like, and it's just gonna be like,
all right. Hear me out, Ryan. That premise, instead of it being every rarity, because that would just be super excessive.
Yes.
But that would actually probably be insane.
Yeah.
What if everything is just common?
The low rarity collection.
Yes. Well, yes. Yes. The minimum rarity collection. Yeah.
Yes. Everything is common and rare. And
That
that's
would be
it.
broken.
Everything's
Like
just common.
Starfoil.
Oh, it's
Starf-
Starfoil. Yeah, it's all the funny
Oh,
rarities.
man.
Everything is Starfoil, Mosaic Rare.
God, that would be
And
awesome.
that's it.
Dual terminal, like whatever. Yeah, throw it together.
Yes.
Fine. What if they make one that's just everything's Hobby League and yeah,
Like just really
you can never
warped.
get disqualified for a mod card if your whole deck is Hobby League. Yeah,
Yes.
crazy.
Okay. All right. So as far sorry, as far as the we've talked about the initial product page announcement. So when this Rarity Collection was first announced, the like heavy hitters, I guess I'll say, that they announced like the second they announced the set were like access code, Droll and Lockbird, Ghost Ogre, and I want to say they also announced like, let me look at this list. What else did they announce? Appaloosa and IP. Yes, Alt Arts, Appaloosa and IP. Those were the big ticket ones they announced immediately. Then they did like an update where they announced like Cosmic Cyclone, the Solemn Counter Traps, Book of Moon, Book of Eclipse, and a couple other odds and ends like Joel D.D. Crow, right? And then some other random stuff and all the planets. So we knew maybe like 20 cards from the set. Oh, and I think Magician's Souls. So we knew like 20 cards from the set. And now we have the whole thing. And I guess the somewhat surprising ones are both artworks of every card are in here, right? Like both IPs are in here, right? Or was I just lied to about that?
So I thought both. I originally thought it was like both things, but
Yeah.
You would
now,
assume so.
But
but
is it
I
just
saw that like there's only the Ghost Ogre and Ghost Mourner are just the alternate arts, and then I was confused. So actually, you know what? I'm gonna say I don't know. I only watched one
I
video,
will make
and
sure.
I'm looking at this list. I don't even see the Ghost Mourner ult in this set.
I'm going to double check right now before I go too
Yeah.
far into this.
I mean, I could be wrong.
Let's see.
I don't know. Like I'm looking at a Ready for Duel screenshot, and I can't be bothered counting to see if this is 79 cards or not. But.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. That's a great. Okay. Huh. That's a
Yeah.
great question. I've now seen two conflicting. I guess I'll say I don't know which ones have both artworks and which don't because I see conflicting information on that. And I don't know where I would. I guess I didn't pay enough attention to the videos.
this is where I just go watch a
45.
video real quick.
Yeah, hold on. Let's pause it real quick. And we're back. I guess I will say inconclusive which cards for sure are in both rarities. A bunch of the images circulating online, or both artworks, a bunch of images circulating online have both artworks of almost every card. And when we just watched a bunch of the videos, the only cards with both artworks we saw were Rescue Cat and Droll. So I don't know. Maybe there is both arts of the other cards. But we did not see them, so I guess I will not speak definitively on which cards have both artworks or not, because I've seen a bunch of different visuals with conflicting information, and obviously some of them have to be wrong. So whichever ones end up being the ones, the only ones that I've seen for sure are Droll and Rescue Cat. But yeah, so of the ones that we've seen now, right? Of the cards that were not announced ahead of time, I don't think there were any like crazy value ones, right? Like no like really expensive card that got a reprint. I think the probably most sought after one is Crossout Designator. As far as like the cheapest printing of that card was like $15 or so. And now we also have, the QCR and the Ultimate and the Collector's Rare ones that are going to be, I mean, to be honest, most of those stuff, the QCR is probably going to be cheaper than $15 coming out of this set anyway. But that's probably the one that's like the most sought after of the now revealed cards. But I asked both of you before we started recording what your favorite one of the newer ones that we didn't know about was. Mine is Omega. I did not think Omega would make it. I was very happy. I love Omega. That's one of my favorite cards, and I feel like it's needed a higher rarity printing for a long time, well overdue. And Underworld Goddess, I think, was really due for a high rarity printing. I think that card should have been
That
Starlight.
card,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
surprised
it
that
should have
card
been
was in Starlight
Starlight for
originally.
sure.
So I think that's like very well deserved slot for that card. I think that's a card that could have been Starlight from the get go. And it was creeping up. I think the reprints were like over $10. The tin reprint was over $10. Now we have a cheap one,
Yeah.
and now we have presumably a more expensive one. So I think that was a really good pick. Jeff, I know you have a strong feeling about which one you liked, so why don't you go first?
I don't want to say strong, but because I really am not like a fan of this set really in general. But the thing I was pleasantly surprised about was Hope Harbinger, because I have like this premium gold one, like the original one, and I think QCR would look really nice. And then Polymerization, because Polymerization is pretty iconic and popular, so
Yeah,
I think
for
a
sure.
really high rarity version of that is really cool as well.
Absolutely. Bohdan?
I like Super Nimble Mega Hamster. I think that's unique enough, and it sort of just plays to the Edison crowd. Not to
And
say that
Raiko.
it wasn't yeah, that too. Yeah, Raiko especially, I think is a decent one. It goes with the whole Light Swarm theme that we're sort of getting all of these reprints in Europe for some reason. I don't know why we're getting Light of Destruction and the Structure Deck. You guys are getting the Structure Deck. But yeah, it's sort of kind of redundant to reprint Raiko in this and then put it in the other one. But that's a different topic of discussion. It's funny though, right? Like you have Hamster, you have Raiko, you have Rescue Cat. Where are we at now? We playing,
Charge that brigade.
Caliber Cat in 2010.
Yeah.
I think it's funny.
Yeah, Max
But
is
yeah,
really happy
Abyss
about
Dweller I
Charge
think is
Delivery.
good. Oh yeah, Charge I think is a good one too. I think Abyss Dweller is one that's like long overdue, but I was sort of underwhelmed with the ulti one at the time. So like maybe this one will be a little nicer with some more like skewed rarities.
Yeah.
I think a lot of stuff is just like we always talk about, oh, this card's already in a premium rarity, but then some of the premium rarities just don't do the cards justice. So having like the extra option is always cool. Not from like a standpoint of buying the product,
Sure.
but like when you do get to do cosmetics for your deck, like I think it's always nice to have a cool rarity sort of fit a theme. I know Ryan and Ryan and some other friends love doing stuff like that. So
I've
I'm not like
definitely
super sentimental to it,
come
but
around. I've definitely come around on appreciating uniform rarities. Like what I didn't like is when they just kept printing a bunch of different cards as different high rarities and it didn't seem like there was any rhyme or reason to it. And then when there were so many other cards that were lacking a high rarity, and in a set like this, I don't really mind it, because they're covering everything, right? Like they're covering everything.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like when I think about cards that I, like really didn't like, I think it was the OTS pack that had Ecclesia and Zeus as ultimates. Both of those cards were Starlight, like within a year prior. And it's like, not only, like, I don't know, it was just so weird just because, like, I wasn't, like, mad they reprinted Zeus and Ecclesia. I was mad that they didn't pick a card that didn't have a high rarity. You know what I mean?
And
like
that's how I feel all the time
yeah,
whenever they print an ultimate.
Because only 3 ultimates come out, every 4 months. Actually, last episode we just talked about how infrequent OTS packs are and the problem with when bad ultimates get picked, because it means they can't make a new ultimate for like 4 months or whatever. So in a set like this where it's 79 80 cards, I'm not too fussed about it, because for every Abyss Dweller that already has an ultimate rare, there's 40 other cards that don't have a high rarity printing that kind of evens out. And now, as I mentioned, you can kind of get everything in a uniform rarity, and it's fine. If you like your deck to be all super rare, you can do that. If you like your deck to be all QCR, you can do that. And that's something that I think Rarity Collection 1 did very well. And one of my biggest complaints, I guess, with Rarity Collection 1 was that even if you got all the Rarity Collection 1 cards, there were still going to be a bunch of cards that weren't matching. And then here we are, right? Now you can get your Droll Ogre DD Crow, and everything can look the same if you want. But as far as like the actual quality of the reprints, I was talking to Jeff about this earlier, and I've seen what little I have seen about this has just been people complaining, I guess, like there's no like top end card that's like on par with Ash Blossom from the previous set. One, I'm not even sure if I agree with that, because I think Altar IP and Altar Appaloosa, and to a certain extent Access Code, to a lesser extent Access Code, I think kind of fit that role pretty well. I think Altar IP is perfectly fine for your top end collector card, right? Like QCR IP, I imagine this Altar one will be over $100, and that's fine, right? Like that's a fine thing there. And
Sure.
one thing that I think, compared to the previous set, and one thing that I think people are like really discounting is like a Rarity Collection 1, while yes, it did have some really high highs like Prosperity and Ash, and Valor and Imperm, it had some low lows. And it had like
and
a
that's what I
bunch of
kind
them,
of want to
right?
talk about is
Like,
how the highs in set one were way high, but the
yeah,
lows were way low. And this set I feel like has more of a middle ground where
yes.
like there are some good cards, there aren't a lot of like unplayable
There's only
cards.
one unplayable card, which
Yes.
which is it's a real outlier when the set is of an overall reasonable quality, and then which we'll get to it. But yes, I would say there is only one truly, like, there is only one card in this set where if I open it and it's in my like hit hollow slot, I'll be like, bah.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
Rarity
like
Collection
it
1, there were
you
a
have
dozen.
obviously you have Ice Barrier, you have the Iris Sword Soul, you have Wind, the Wind Charmer, Fairy Tale, Luna,
uh
the
the the
Blackwing
the code
cards,
talker guy, yeah, the code
Code
talk,
Talker Inverted,
yeah,
Junk Speeder,
yeah,
like
so many, there were just so many, like, just not, yeah, Rarity Collection 1 had a lot of misses, which and that was because it was just directly ported from a Japanese set that was
mhm.
more or less catered to their market.
Well,
um
I don't even know about all that,
well, right,
but
but I mean, like, certain cards didn't have
Well, they also
reprints
just
that
they
they
just pooped them out
and
like
they had
very
Maxi in their
frequently
set too.
anyway.
And
Yeah.
their set also had Maxi. So they had an even higher high end than Ash. But yeah. Um
and I would have rather pulled a Maxi out of my Rarity Collection one
then
than
Code Talker
20
inverted.
cards
Yes.
in my
Uh-huh.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So as far as like the low of this set, it is Sol and Luna. I don't think there's any debate. I do, I don't get it. Like, actually unfathomable that this card, like, I I I would have rather had Book of Lunar Eclipse. Just to go with Book of
It would
Moon
have
and
made
Book of
more
Eclipse. It would have
sense,
made more sense.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
so
like
suppose.
So while there
I
are others, I think what would have made more sense, and we talked about this briefly before, was they put Forbidden Lance, and they should just put Forbidden
Forbidden
Chalice in
Chalice.
there.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
have really liked Chalice. Would have been, yeah, absolutely. I
Then you
think
have Book of Moon, Book of Eclipse, you have Forbidden Lance, Forbidden Chalice, and I think
yes,
that would have been. I
that would
mean,
have
you already
been.
had it because they had Droplet in the first one, so
Yep.
why not just put Chalice in there as well?
Yeah.
Which I will also say, Forbidden Lance is also in my top 5. Like, probably as far as like cards I did not expect and I'm very happy to see in here. Forbidden Lance is right up there with Omega.
Yeah.
I think. Like,
Because the last time when I was playing Forbidden Lance in the Cashier deck, I had like the original Super Rare ones, and I got deck checked, and they're like, these have to go. These
yeah,
are
They're
these
so
are
very
old.
bad,
these
yeah.
are 10 years old.
Your
And
next max rarity was like Style Foil Forbidden
yeah,
Lance.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's something also that I think I mentioned a couple times is like, I'm also another reason why I really hated the Ultimate Ecclesia and Zeus is like, I don't even hate when cards that already have high rarities get high rarities. I hate when cards that just got high rarities get high rarities. For some of these cards that the high rarities, like the max rarity for Charge Light Brigade is the secret rare that is 15 years old at this point, and they are
Right.
crumbling to dust, right?
Cards
Because
like that,
like
Allure of Darkness,
yeah.
like
Yeah, Allure. I can't believe Allure still been dodging all of the. I've been saying Allure for like 3 years.
yeah.
I do not know how Allure keeps dodging. Foolish Burial finally got like a more, like something hot, it had the Turbo Pack Super Rare, but those are old, getting really old now too. It's like, but yeah,
mine. I
Foolish
actually
Burial.
cannot play my super rare
Yes,
anymore.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure you've put it in 38 different decks, right? Like
Yeah.
you've shoveled it 20,000 times. Like, yeah, it is like that's what it is, right? So I'm glad that we got, like Foolish Burial is one that I've had on a list of like cards that I think should get, a reprint. I think as far as like Ultimate Slayer, this is its first reprint, right? Because it wasn't in the tins. Yeah, I missed the tins.
It
So Ultimate
was,
Slayer, this is
yeah.
its first reprint. Not a crazy
I thought
card
that
by
was
any
a card
means,
that
but
like needed to be reprinted, but
yes.
again,
it's a
but
card
but
that has
also
never really seen
it,
much play, which is kind of weird
it
because like
hasn't. But the BM for me is just it has the Starlight Rare,
it's a
and I
Starlight,
think
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
always like
Eh.
the needle where it's like this is where we reprint it. Like, oh, you
Yeah.
wanted a reprint? Oh, sure. And then everyone that owns the Starlight Rare that was already relatively inexpensive now has the Starlight Rare
Yeah.
worth nothing.
I mean, the same thing when they
which is
put
always good.
Kurakara as an ultimate in the OTS pack. Why do they always?
Yep.
Why? Anyways, so, okay. I guess here, this one, I was on the topic of OTS things. Okay, I'm not mad Econ is in this set. I'm just disappointed. I
feel like that one was a big oversight.
It's
sure.
like, and again, I don't. It's the thing where I do not think the solution would have been when this set was being drawn up. Somebody goes, wait, we shouldn't put an Econ. It just got ultimate. I think the solution was to have not made it ultimate.
Yes.
Which
yeah, Neutral is one of my favorite cards. I have the ultimates, and now I feel really.
Yes, I also love
not
Econ.
happy about
yes,
it.
I also love Econ, and I also got the ultimates recently. And they're not, they're not like relative to other high rarity cards. Like they're not that expensive. Like I'm not.
For what I paid for them, I could have gotten the QCRs though.
That's right. That's sure. I mean, that's how I feel, and I'm going to because I want them to match other cards. Like that's what I mean. So now, yes,
like,
I agree.
In my deck QCR, I'd rather just
Yes, like if there are other QCRs in my deck, I'd rather all my staples to match them. And like yes, and it's one of those things where like Econ came out like 2 OTS packs ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's crazy, right? Like that's crazy. It's a card that people have been wanting a higher rarity for almost 20 years. Like the max rarity Econ was the Ancient Sanctuary one from 2005.
That's how you get banned.
Yeah.
Jeff had to replace this at the YCS.
I did. There are a lot of times I use old cards and they just tell me these have to go. I'm like, but I like them.
Yeah, because that's the only ones. Yeah. Yeah, I mean they literally are. That's what I'm saying. Is like there are so many of these old cards that are just like I don't know. It's like the tops are yellowing or like the corners are soft, and it's just like here we are. Now we can finally just have new printings of cards with their own print quality problems.
So
whatever.
Was there any card that you kind of expected to be in here and was not? Because there is one card for me.
I don't think I had any. Oh, I thought the Charmers would be in here. Not that they needed to be, but I thought they would be.
They would be, but I hoped they would be.
Sure.
Why?
Why? Well, why did I hope they would be in here? Because I would like to have
because they're good
Charmers.
Yeah, they're good cards.
Okay.
I don't
know. But for me,
you didn't have the Starlight Rare ones. Oh, okay. That's cool.
Anyways, continue.
Well, Starlights don't match QCRs.
Yeah, so. That's true. Yeah, like I have some of the Starlight Rare ones, and I would probably get QCRs to match everything else at this point. That's kind of the path I'm going down now. Is like at this point now, I feel like I've attained like full enlightenment. When a card gets reprinted in QCR, I go, good. Now I can sell my other one and buy the QCR for less. And like that's how it's just like cool. I've had these ogres for 9 years or whatever. Now I can sell them and get QCRs for less somehow.
The really obvious one has to be Trident Dragion, and everyone will scream that from the rooftops. But then we saw it's in the tin,
which I thought it would be an OTS pack. So that's
that too. I mean, it still could be.
We knew that. Okay, that was the I was going to say. I'm sorry, Snatch Steal was not in this.
Yeah, Mind Control is in here, and Snatch Steal's not. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
and like
I'm
Malicious.
Melissa's another one, yeah. But the other one was like, I swore I would have probably bet money that there would have been some cards, like 1 or 2 cards related to each planet. Like
Sure.
a
Yeah.
Fenrir, a Rise
Yeah.
heart, like
I think it would have made sense maybe for them to do like all of the heart mobs. So like just
maybe that's in
Rhino
the
Heart,
next
Rise
one,
Heart.
like,
in the next in Rarity Collection
like
25th
actually,
anniversary 3,
probably, right?
27th anniversary edition.
Uh-huh.
But yes, I think it would have been, you know, reasonable to have, you know, I don't even know what the Manatium one is called. I don't even know what his name is.
Riam Heart.
Sure,
Riam Heart,
Rimheart, yeah.
Rium.
Yeah, if they did Rhino Heart, Rimheart, Reichheart, and Rise Heart, I would have been like, okay, like that makes sense. But the planets are fine. It's whatever. Like I'm not. It's serviceable, I suppose. All the Blue Eye stuff makes sense now in the wake of the announcement that the next structure deck is. We've now skipped Chaos Dragon and Atlantean, and we're going to reloaded Blue Eyes deck. Like that's like we did Fire King, which skipped over Chaos Dragon, and now we've skipped over Atlantean and we've gone right to Blue Eyes, which is weird that they didn't skip a single reloaded structure deck. I mean, to be fair, the reloaded Chaos Dragon deck would have ended Yu-Gi-Oh! Like better Eclipse Wyvern.
Like Pulsar Dragon
it either would have ended Yu-Gi-Oh! Or they would have had to make the cards all unplayable.
Yeah, which is like funny that like yes, like a reloaded Chaos Dragon structure deck would have been the craziest thing ever, or just like the worst cards imagine, like Eclipse Wyvern but can't trigger the turn it sent to graveyard, and like I don't even know, but yeah, so all the Blue Eyes reprints make a lot of sense, and I am actually going to applaud their restraint in that they actually only did the ones that I think you'd play. Like, they did the Synchro, they did Alternative, and they did Jet. They didn't do any of
Jet?
the other.
I actually don't even know. What
I don't
Jet
know.
Does, honestly.
You know what? Good point. I don't know either. But they did. They did.
They also printed Bingo Machine Go, and that card was money. So
yeah. I'm saying you like they could have done the weird like main deck Spirit one that I'm sure you don't play that anymore. I mean maybe you do, or like some of the stones that you may or may not play. Like I think they did a good job in having a couple Blue Eyes cards for it in anticipation of the structure deck for people that like Blue Eyes, obviously, but not overloading it. So if you don't care about that stuff, you're not opening 10 Blue Eyes cards every pack, you know. I think the one I think they were a little bit heavy-handed on was the branded cards. I don't think they needed. I guess there's not that many of them. If you consider Guardian Chimera being more or less a branded card, then we've got Rinbrum, Guardian Chimera, Masquerade is so weird. Masquerade, Alubur. Alubur already had an ultimate also? Yeah. I think they went kind of too. I guess they had Albaz in the last one. I don't know. It's all weird. Right? Like, they really. I guess the branded deck. Actually, how about this? I'm kind of shocked if they went this far. They didn't just triple down and put in branded fusion, which I know also has an OTS ultimate. But I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm kind of surprised they didn't just go like, now your whole deck is Starlight and QCR. Like, here it is.
I mean, at this point, salt the earth, like just do everything. Yeah. Like you have Rinbrum, just give it Grand Guignol as well.
Oh yeah, Grand Guignol.
Who cares? Right?
Was Grand Guignol Starlight as well? It was, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember anymore. Yeah. I'm just gonna default to if it's a branded card that it probably was. It probably was Starlight, but
Mirror Jade again would just be depressed.
Okay, once again, I think that one's a little bit too soon, but yes, like it is so like there's a razor thin line on these type of reprints that I will accept and the ones that I think are disgusting. And I think Mirror Jade is like right on the cusp of like that's gross, you know, for those. That's too soon, I think, but I don't know. I think Skullmeister is one that when I really thought about like this set and they said Droll, Crow, Ogre, Phantasme, I was like, I don't think they'll do Gamma. because it's limited. They could have, honestly. I don't think they'll do
Could've
Gambit.
done
And anti-spell
Yeah,
fragrance.
and then yes, and then I started thinking, and I was like, Skullmeister wouldn't be bad. It already has a collector's rare, haha. But like, I think it would fit the theme of the rest of
getting
these.
all the hand traps out of the way.
Yes, and I think hand traps are even like Skullmeister is a card. I am from those of you that remember the Duels Academy streams, I am the #1 documented Skullmeister hater.
Yeah,
I literally because there are times when these cards have been good. Like there are times Skullmeister has been good. But there was a time period where I think Skullmeister was unplayable. And people were just jamming it into every deck. And I was like, what is happening? Like, am I going insane? So I don't actually hate Skullmeister like entirely. I just thought it was bad at the time, and for some reason it was like the 3rd most popular hand trap, and it baffled me. But I think it's a card that's like fine. Chaos Hunter also, I am like very surprised is in this set, but when I saw it, I was like, that's a good one. Like that's one that I would want. And Chaos Hunter is the type of card that I think is like borderline immune to power creep, in that what it does,
a hand trap floodgate.
It's like a it's like similarly to like how Droll and Lancia I think are like immune to power creep. Like when the mechanics they interact with are good, nothing can be better. Like when banishing is good, nothing can be better than Lancia and Chaos Hunter, right? And like yes, I say immune to power creep. Obviously, they could just print Chaos Hunter 2 and it's the same card text with bigger stats. Like then it would be power creep, yes. But in terms of like, it's like it is a card that any time in Yu-Gi-Oh, my deck could need a level 7 dark, and preventing my opponent from banishing could be relevant for some reason. And it's just generic and playable and powerful enough that it's 13 years old now, and it's seen play like in the last couple years, not consistently, but it's, you know, it's one of those cards. Like Econ is a similar way, I think, where it's like it's a card that's kind of, you know, gone in and out, you know, many times. And I think it's another card. Like I think also people kind of forget this is the 1/4 century anniversary collection. Like there need to be some, you know, historic card. Not that Chaos Hunter is a particularly like, you know, iconic card, but it is from an era that I think deserves like representation in this type of thing, which is also why I think Maxi probably could have been in the first Rarity Collection. It is an iconic card in Yu-Gi-Oh's history, yada yada yada, but whatever. I think putting Cosmic, Twin, and MST was a good decision. I know, Bohdan, you didn't like MST being in this set or something like that. I don't remember your exact words on it.
I mean, like, it probably like doesn't. MST was the card that just had like a printing in every rarity, right? That was the whole
now that's
thing.
QCR.
And now it's like, yeah, here's like another 3 rarities, and here's, you know, here's like 50 of them again. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, I think it's fine for like in that like it's played in every retro format. Every single one.
I sold Nishad like 300 ultra rare MSTs from Dual Overload, and I can just tell he's sick right now. That $40 is gonna make him ill.
All
anyway,
right.
continue.
Great, but yeah, you know, I think this card's playable in every retro format till the end of time. Like MST's never been banned. It's been at 1 for a billion years, but it's never been banned, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's never, yeah. But it's so like literally every retro format since it was printed, it is like if it's not in your main deck, it's in your side deck. Like it's somewhere.
I understand why MST's there, but to me is like, you know, I've been around the block,
yeah,
so to speak.
I agree.
Just seeing it in every set, and just thinking to myself,
it's literally,
oh man, I need MST for my deck. I guess I'll look in, you know, this box deck from this set. Yeah, like 20 other sets
I
later.
could go into my office right now and pick up a random stack of commons, and there's probably an MST.
yeah.
It's just littering at this point. Like you could just go out on the street.
Then we yell at the worker to say, why do you have MST in the whatever duelist set? Oh god. You get my joke.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes. Cosmic Cyclone is one that I think like is that card has been super super hot recently. At where was the last event? Where was the last Raleigh?
Raleigh.
Is that Raleigh?
North
At Raleigh.
Carolina.
At Raleigh, I was Max and I were working at the AU booth, and I think the card we got asked for more than any other card the whole weekend was Cosmic Cyclone. Like that was the card. I think it was Cosmic and Crossout were the two cards that we were asked for the most the whole weekend. So that's like very timely reprint on these two, obviously. I think the next logical place Crossout, like, could we have put Crossout in the tins for a third time? Probably not. So, let's put it here, I guess. I think that's fine. And then, like, the awkward set, like, it's so crazy to look at Twin Twister and remember that when that card came out, it was a $12 super rare for like 2 years. Yeah. And then now it's like a 13-cent gold rare, like, in bulk. And then, like, it's here and it's like, the QCR Twin Twisters are going to be like $12. And it's going to make me sick. And just like, here we are, right? Like, it is so weird that, like, how much of an awkward spot Twin Twisters is in nowadays, where, like, MST has seen play somewhat recently, in air quotes, because, like, popping your own cards has been relevant, like popping your own cards in Metal Foe, popping your own card in Sky Striker has been like a thing, and then it's just had utility outside of that. And like Cosmic, like, so many spells and traps now just do stupid things in the graveyard. You just need to banish them. That Twin Twister has just been like such an awkward card in recent years, but I'm sure it'll be playable
Twin
again.
is probably on par with MST, if not played more, but neither here nor there.
I think both Twin and MST haven't been played recently, like, much at all.
No,
but
people have been.
I got Twin Twister at locals
Twin
yesterday.
again. Sorry. Yeah.
I actually
Twin
did.
Twin is popping up again for sure. Yeah.
Against what?
I don't think it was that good, but
sure.
I
think it's also when you just consider, like, now we have like Lightning Storm and Feather Duster. It's like we have so many more like back row removal things that, like, if you want to go wide, you have better options, and if you want to target down like a Floodgate, like, Cosmic is going to be better most of the time. So
I guess the argument is, like, if you're doing stuff like Nibiru or Bystial's post board and you can't use the Lightning Storm, and some 10-pipe people were doing like Twin instead.
Sure.
And they just had like multiple Bystials plus Nibiru, but it depends. I've definitely seen a lot more Twin Twister this year than I have in prior years, for sure.
That makes sense. Yeah. What other notable? I think Duality is pretty good. I think when they did Extravagance, Desires, and Prosperity last set, logical. And then this kind of goes back to, like, I think, Jeff, you asked, were there any cards that we were, like, surprised didn't make it in? I think there weren't any, like, in a vacuum I was, like, expecting to be in here. But after seeing the whole set list, the two head scratchers are the ones that I was like, why aren't these in here? Are Chalice and Pot of Avarice. I think those two are, like, in the context of everything else, it's like, if Lance is here and Chalice isn't, and then if Duality is here and all the pots are in the previous one, obviously you can't have every single, you're not going to have Pot of Riches and Pot of Generosity, but, like, I think Avarice
those were in
is,
the
like,
pod collection.
Well, yes. I'm saying I think, like, Avarice is, like, another very playable card in Edison, very playable card in many legacy formats, and just, like, iconic card.
I felt like maybe Upstart Goblin could potentially.
For sure.
Yeah,
Upstart Goblin for sure could have been in this set. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna guess though that Upstart went to 3 on this last list, right?
No, it went to 3.
No,
like 2 or 3 lists ago.
Oh, okay.
Well,
never
Chicken
mind.
Game went to 1. That's I think.
That's Chicken Game is the one I was thinking of. That we got back. Okay, yeah, never mind. Well, the Upstart definitely could have been in here, I guess, but I mean, I haven't really seen anyone play that card at all.
Oh no, for sure. But, like, it's played in Edison. That's why, like, it's actually still expensive, right? Like, it was in the tins. It was in Secret Slayers, right? Not the tins. Sorry, it was in Gold Series, and it was.
Yeah, I think in Maximum Gold, it's a rare in Maximum Gold. I think it's still like $2 or $3. Like, it's not nothing.
Which, like, the Dragon deck,
I think $2 is an acceptable price range for a card, but it's obviously like it could be
random. But I'm thinking about it now. We obviously know that in the first set, it was 79 cards because they just took out Max C. Why was it
Yes.
79
Yeah.
cards again? Though?
I have been one. I don't
honestly,
know.
What if they pick 79 cards for this set? Because then they can backtrack and be like, no, they were all meant to be 79 cards. We didn't remove Maxi.
Revisionist history.
Because I definitely think that like looking on it, like there's no reason for it to be 79, right? Like it could just be 80. And then you look at the thing and you're just like, oh, okay, maybe they're just doing it for consistency's sake, so no one can just be like, yeah, you guys just didn't want to include Maxi.
So also,
and then that would be it.
Also, for the record, Rarity Collection 1 technically had 81 different cards because they had both arts of Unicorn and both arts of Golden Lord, which I don't believe shared the same distribution. Like I don't think I'm pretty sure like both arts of Golden Lord were equally printed. Like I do not think like half of the Golden Lords. Do you know what I mean? If that makes, I don't think I explained what I meant properly.
I understand.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I don't think, and similarly, again, as we talked about earlier, I don't know which ones are altered in this set. We literally couldn't find that information because there are a bunch of people claiming different things. And from the videos we watched, the only cards with both arts that we saw with our own eyes were Droll and Rescue Cat. If that is the case, and those are the only ones that have both art, then that would actually fit in line exactly with Rarity Collection 1. It would be 81 unique cards. It would be 79 with 2 alt arts. So, I don't know. You know, which is also bizarre. If it ends up lining up like that, also bizarre, right? Like also very strange. I think I'm a little surprised we didn't get any of the anniversary alt arts in this. Maybe we're gonna get those in the tins, you know, because Japan just got.
No, those are in the tins.
They're in the tins.
Okay, it's in the product.
Is it like the Regeki and the limit removal and stuff?
Oh no, it's like the Dark Edition girl and stuff like that.
Oh well, those are in the same set, so probably we'll get those too.
Yeah, because also I had it up like 5 seconds ago. Yeah. Oh no, the Harpy's Feather and Regeki are in it. Yeah, brand new versions of famous cards like Red Eyes Black Dragon, Dark Magician Girl, Harpy's Feather Duster, and Regeki.
Sure. Okay, so then we can
400 cards in this set. This tin doesn't have has something for everyone.
What
it's
could
got a
possibly
whole lot of some things.
After this, what could possibly be in those? What 400 cards could possibly be?
Well, it has cards from Power of the Elements, Photon Hypernova, Cyberstar Magnus, Duelist Nexus, Age of Overlord, Amazing Memories, Amazing Defenders, Wild Survivors, and more. And we already know what one of those more is. So.
Oh, God. Yeah, I guess. Whatever. God, that's so many.
So speaking of more, should we talk about the more as our last topic?
Of what? Of the tins?
Yeah, because it says and more. We can talk about the and more. The and more is Trident Dragion.
Oh yeah, raging battle. Literally raging battle.
And I think so. Like obviously, like really late to have this card reprinted in here.
Yeah,
I think everyone knows that.
Yeah,
but it also just shows that nothing is like off the tables when it comes to what can be put in this
for the tins. Yeah, well, I think they kind of showed that nothing is off limits for the tins when they put like Ghost Ogre in the 2021 or 2022 tins or whatever. You know, like they can just do whatever. Like they've just don't. Yeah. The Trident Dragion reprint being announced, I'm a little surprised. Like, okay, I think it's funny. The card has gone down since the reprint got announced, but not that much because the reprint is 4.5 months away.
Yeah.
So.
When it comes to our WCQ season, it'll probably just be more again.
In the booth, if you're trying to buy a Trident Dragion in the booth at the WCQ, that card is $100. Like no questions. Like that you like.
It also is like that gets better at our WCQ season.
Oh yeah, so when the new set comes out. Yes, yeah, that deck gets more support. So you know, here we are. Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah, it was a bizarre way to announce that reprint. It was a bizarre, like, it just, I don't know. It every time I think I figured it out, it's like they just keep throwing curveballs. You know what I mean? Like every time I think like I see what they're going for here, it's just like I get faked out. But All things considered, I I have a higher opinion of Rarity Collection 2 than I think a lot of other people do. I
Sure.
think like, again, I haven't followed as closely the discourse that as I have for the other ones, but almost all things I've seen about this set have been negative, and I don't really get it. I don't know. I guess,
Yeah,
again, I just
I'm
don't
more
know
in the
what people
more
want anymore.
indifferent category
Yeah.
where I'm like, this is whatever. I'm not going like I bought like numerous boxes and opened numerous boxes of Rarity Collection 1, and I will not be doing that with this set. So that's probably I'm like, well,
Hmm.
it's whatever. It's easier. It is easier
That's a
for
good
me to
point.
just get the singles. I was way more excited to open Rarity Collection 1. With this, I am not that excited to
Well,
open
I
it. I
think
will just buy the singles.
because it was the novelty of you hadn't opened a set like that before.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I think that's also the thing of like, I guess this is gonna maybe make some people mad. It's like people had unreal expectations for Rarity Collection 1 because to them it was exactly what they always wanted, that they kept saying Konami should make, and they finally made it, and people were screaming from the rooftops that it was going to be the best set ever, and they opened it, and then now they have it again, and it's not new anymore. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Now they know what it is, and it's
You
not
wanted it,
as
here it
yeah,
is.
and it's not as exciting. You know what I mean? Because I agree with you completely. I opened a decent bit of Rarity Collection 1. I was excited to open it, not necessarily even for the value of just like, I was like, I want to open a funny pack with a bunch of different shiny cards in it. But
Yes.
like, that's out of my system now because I did it and it was a little fun, but it wasn't, like it wasn't like it wasn't as crazy as I hoped it would be, I guess. And I'll probably get a couple pack, like I'll crack a couple packs of this set, maybe like a box, and just, like have some fun with it. But yeah, I think like as far as the cards I really want from it, I'm not really in a hurry. It's probably just because I'm also not playing as much now as I was when Rarity Collection 1 came out. I'm not in a crazy hurry to get the cards I want from this set. I'm just kind of let it play out. I think the only card I'm probably going to go like pretty far out of my way to like get immediately is Omega. Like if QCR Omega is like under $20, like I'm probably just going to buy one like
I
the
imagine it is.
day.
If we
Yeah,
look
I
at what
imagine.
pre-orders are, and we
Yeah.
assume that usually things become less than when they are
Mm-hmm.
at pre-orders, like right now, if I have to spend $120 on a box of Rarity Collection 2, I'm better off just buying all the cards
Yeah.
I want. I can get like a good chunk of cards I
Yeah.
want for the QCRs.
I would say the exception would be if you are someone who does not own these staples in any rarity, it's probably not bad. Like you'll get a lot of mileage out of opening a box of this set, and now you just have a play set of Ogre, Droll, Crow, Judgment, Strike, all the extra deck card. You know what I mean? Like a Cosmic Twin. Like you'll just have all these cards now, and it's like part of the. I think we've touched on this a little bit. Part of the problem for me when they reprint the same cards a billion times is even if they have a little bit of value, it's like to the average person, it's like creating more work for them. Where it's like, okay, cool, I pulled like the reprint of this card that's been reprinted a million times. I already have them. Okay, I need to trade this card for a card I actually want. And then it's like everyone else already has them because they reprinted it a million times. If you don't own these cards and you're a relatively new player, this is a great like product. Like pound for pound, you will get far more value out of this product than any other product currently available, I think. Like you will just open a pack and it will be cards you can play. Like these are quality cards that have been in competitive decks like recently. With the exception of like pulling, like a Pearly spell you don't want to play Pearly. The rest of these are like generic enough that you will get value out of it if you are a newer player. And I think that's important also to like take note of. But yeah, I think that's all I got on Rarity Collection 2. All in all, I think it's a fine set. I think there are a couple outliers. Soul and Luna, absolute bottom tier garbage. I don't understand that one. But like on average, I think higher quality, like higher card quality than Rarity Collection 1, but lower peaks than Rarity Collection 1 as well. So
and I think I disagree, but yes, I think I wouldn't say higher card quality. I just think that like if you look at the top 10 cards from each one, the top 10 cards from the first one outweigh the entirety of Rarity Collection 2. So I would say like it is for number one is just bigger and better, even if it has the higher lows. Um, like if the lows are like even like way worse than this one, I think this one is just more in the middle all around. It's just kind of whatever.
And it makes
Oh,
me wonder if they're
I've
going to
been
make a Rarity
muted. Oh my
Collection
goodness.
3.
All
Are
right.
they going to make
Well, I
Rarity
was
Collection
gonna
3?
say, how do you fix Rarity Collection 3 then?
Yeah.
Rarity Collection 3? Well, I definitely don't make it 18 packs and double the price of a booster
No,
pack.
I agree with that. But I think if you make your ideal set, then you just take away from like any subsequent products that exist.
Yeah, and
And
that's the
therein lies the
problem.
problem, right?
Yeah. That's the problem every
I
single
think
time.
I think a set like this doesn't work in a Western model quite as well as it does in OCG, solely for the fact that there's a lot more product fatigue, and you could maybe get away with like staggering stuff like this and having like, you know,
I
similar to
do think
Battles of
everyone
Legend.
was like, wow, this is very soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was kind of all of our
Well,
reactions when they announced
I
it.
think that's been, and I think I've touched on this before, but I think product fatigue kind of actually boils down almost all of my problems I have with like Yu-Gi-Oh product right now. I went into detail about this. I think the whatever the last episode we did in 2023, if you go towards the end, I looked at the whole product schedule, and I'm gonna TLDR of like there are times where there are no products for like 3 months. Then we get like 4 products in a month and a half, and it makes no sense. It like
mhm.
I don't understand. Like it's so weird where
Like the fact we had Rarity Collection 1 and AGOV right next to each other, absolutely crazy.
yes, absolutely, like just absolutely like I can't think of a word that is appropriate to say. I was like sorry. I was like, we've actually been pretty light on the on the cursing this episode. I'm probably gonna submit a different age rating on this one. I don't wanna ruin that for the monetization. Anyways, it's pretty crazy. Yes, how that was the I mean, we talked about that too, about how Rarity Collection 1 cannibalized the sales of Agov.
And
Which
then
like
in turn
we
made
yeah.
things in AGOV even more because people,
Yeah.
when they have to order these sets so far ahead of time, stores, they're like, all right, we know Rarity Collection 1 and we have AGOV. Well, we know Rarity Collection 1, what cards are in it, and we know people are excited for it, and we know what cards are in AGOV, but we don't know the rarities for it. So let's just order a small amount of AGOV and a lot of Rarity Collection. And then what happened? AGOV was broken and it was under ordered and all the cards were $1 billion and
Yeah.
everyone was mad.
Yeah.
So
And the prices have kind of calmed down.
yeah.
Which that's something that I don't want to talk about this now really. I guess I'm gonna put the idea out there, and I want to talk about it probably next time, of like I think it is fascinating that the cards like Bonfire and Wanted have dropped as much as they have. Not that I think they're like I don't think they should be more than they are now. I couldn't believe they were as expensive as they were at their peak. And now they've dropped so much that I don't know how they ever got to the point they were. When like these decks positions in the meta have not changed, and like there
So
hasn't been more
I think I know what it is. I really think it is
Sure.
that people just don't like playing these decks. I like talk very often about my locals. I have like 3 pretty big locals. We get like,
Mhm.
you know, 30, 50 people. And I am one of like 3 people that plays the fire decks. And we have like a really competitive locals. We
Yeah.
have people who've topped numerous YCSs, WCQs, and people just do not like playing this deck. They're bored of it, they're sick of it. And between that and like forbidden list worries, a lot of people just dropped it. And I think that just everyone pushed their cards out, and when there's like, if you're not going to an event, why do I have these cards? And then sell them.
And I think that makes a lot of sense when you consider the only card that has retained basically all of its value is SP Little Knight. because that's the card that's played in every single deck, right? Like literally anyone that wants to play Yu-Gi-Oh puts that card in their deck right now. If you sell, it's like I don't know. That is, I guess, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Also, do you know how much boxes of Agov are now? I'm actually sick. Oh my god.
Is it $90?
180.
Oh, okay.
Like there are sold
Wow,
Agov
they have sold
boxes.
for 170
They've sold for 170 today.
Insane.
Wow.
Yeah, that is crazy. Okay. Let's look at Rarity Collection. I'm gonna
Rarity Collection is 120, 111.
Rarity Collection 1? Yeah.
Yeah, it's, oh no,
130 now, yeah. Which still is not, that's a high price for a box, but it's like, Jesus, that's Agov being 100, that is wild. I
It is
cannot
like also
believe
impossible to open a box of Rarity Collection and make your money back up $130.
yeah. Well, it's also impossible to open a box of Agov and make your money back at $180.
For 180, oh yeah. Unless you're playing like QCR Little Knight, yeah.
Yeah, literally just that it. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so very very weird, like I don't know, very weird stuff going on with the prices of cards, and it really like I don't know. I think you're probably right though about people just not wanting to play the deck. I guess everybody was really I mean it was obviously a very hyped up deck, right? And then
yeah,
not to say it didn't live up to the hype, like it's still winning every event. It's still winning every event. It's just people don't.
I think between people not liking to put the deck, bored of it, and if you're not going to an event, why have the cards? Like a lot of people are like, I am not going to any YCSs. And if don't plan on playing this deck for the WCQ, so no reason to pull out of the cards.
Yeah,
a lot of people are going to switch to 10 Pi or want cards from the decks in the info.
Yeah, so. the Fiendsmith, right? Or whatever they're called.
Fiendsmith stuff.
Those cards look
Fiendsmith, Ubel. Yeah, Ubel. There's lots of decks that are viable probably for the WCQ. So.
Yeah.
The Fiendsmith cards are some of the best cards I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're insane. Yeah.
Yeah. Who needs Cashier cards when you have Fiendsmith cards?
They're insane. Yeah. Which we will, as you know, we'll talk about those as they get closer. But I'm pretty excited for those cards. I'm sure just as every new very powerful cards that come out, I'll be very excited for them until I play one tournament with them and then go, I'm already bored, and then not play Yu-Gi-Oh for 3 more months. But
yes,
fingers crossed. Yeah. Thank you all for joining us on our Rarity Collection 2. This wasn't even necessarily an analysis. I don't even know what this was. We just kind of talked. I guess it's what we always do.
Yep.
We always do. Yeah. But thank you for our Rarity, joining our Rarity Collection 2. I guess I'll call it analysis in the video, but
discussion.
Yeah, discussion. I don't even think I'm gonna mention the YCS in the title. I think I'm just because we talked about the Rarity Collection for 59 minutes out of an hour. So, all right. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.
Yeah.